Welcome to the Stray Pointers podcast, where seemingly ordinary people join us for extraordinary discussions. You're listening to Season 1, Episode 17 of the Stray Pointers podcast. This episode of the Stray Pointers podcast was recorded on December 10th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Wallace. For links to items referenced in the podcast, please see the show notes for this episode at straypointers.com. Once more, Hoovie and Rick Lundeen joins the podcast for a discussion of the Giggle. Rick, welcome back.
Hi, Jim. Thanks for having me.
So in yesterday's episode, there were a few cameo appearances. There was one that I was going to, you know what? Before I even go into that, we should let everybody know that assume that every other word in this podcast will be a spoiler for the episode The Giggle, the last of the three specials for the 60th anniversary event for Doctor Who. What I was going to say last week is that there was some chatter about Kate returning to the show. Kate Lethbridge Stewart, the character, and
they had her in the trailer.
Okay, so that was then pretty obvious.
I thought you were talking about Mel.
No, I hadn't even expected Mel to show up, and that was kind of an odd appearance. I mean, she was a companion of the 6th and 7th Doctors, and I suppose if you're going to do a 60th anniversary set of specials and you want to tie up loose ends, they sure mentioned a lot of companions, but they actually had her in there, and she was actually doing something as opposed to being yes, I'm an elite computer programmer from the 20th century, and oh no, my female companion's in trouble, so I've got to save her type person, as I understand it.
Well, yeah, she mostly she was known for her ear-piercing screams, which she's got a volume on her that I mean, there's no question that as far as the popularity of companions go, Mel historically is down there near the bottom with Adric, but as I always point out, that's not Bonnie Langford's fault. That sure. Was the producer or the showrunner, they make their decisions, they make their casting decisions, and for good or ill, they're the ones in charge, as we've seen yesterday.
So then as far as the story went, I think it was pretty engaging from the get-go, and I think Neil Patrick Harris was just pretty stellar as the toy maker or celestial toy maker, whichever you want to call him. And I really enjoyed, pretty much the story up to the point where he tries to kill the Doctor and they expect a regeneration, and then we get quite a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I thought Neil Patrick Harris did a great job, and I like the fact that he eventually shifted the heavy German accent into like this subtle British accent, and he did a great job. And there's there was a lot of potential for this story, and I was very excited for this story. And of course, I expected a big ending, and then what we got,
it was still big.
Well, it was big. In fact, I'm going to say something controversial. And that's that this specific change, as things go forward, might be more problematic and more divisive than the whole timeless child thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. You had mentioned something offline about that. And I don't disagree with the whole, he's split into two when there really should be a primary character. What does that really mean? Is there going to be a split focus? Is the David Tennant Doctor, is the 14th Doctor really going to settle down and collect baseball cards and stuff like that for the rest of his who knows how long existence?
Forever, Jim, because
but do we know that? See,
well,
Does this
I
reset
mean,
anything? Does this incontinuity reset anything with the timeless child?
I mean, anything goes, but until we hear differently, I have to assume that the timeless child, the oncoming storm, the biggest threat to all villainy in the universe, has now been doubled. And if the Doctor has attracted this much negative attention in the past, think what's going to happen out of fear and whatever when the universe finds out there are two of these guys running around now. I mean, there's a lot of possible, and until we, like I said, until we hear differently, we have to assume that both Tennant's 14th Doctor and Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor are now both immortal, timeless childs going forward.
Do we have
We
to
have
assume that though?
well, until we hear differently. I mean,
Well, that's my point is does this now give them some room to sort of redefine for each one of those characters their mortality, their lifespan, that sort of thing? Does it help us while not negating anything that happened in the Timeless Child, allow the writers to sort of bring these back onto a track where well,
it's hard to say. I
fan
mean, the
there,
door's open, but
yeah, there's probably just as many people out there that love the Timeless Child that maybe didn't care for it. I don't really know. There's always going to be um, different opinions on this type of stuff, but I agree with you. I don't like the idea of the dilution of a brand. Basically, it's
exactly so. Yeah.
uh, but is it a way? Excuse me. Was it a way for them to retire the Doctor without really retiring him?
It kind of looks like that. At the same time, I just can't help but think that Russell T Davies, uh, he just can't let go of David Tennant in the role, because if you look at it, there's now three of them. There's been three instances. There's the 10th Doctor. There's the Metacrisis human clone that was made from the 10th Doctor, and now we have the 14th Doctor. And not only do these guys never leave, but the one time the three of them, the one of them does leave, he pitches a tantrum and he has a hissy fit and he just goes nuts, and it was a very unbecoming leaving of a role. And I don't know, it's just like Russell's got this thing. Oh, we've got to have David Tennant's Doctor just living happily ever after whenever possible, even though no other Doctor has had this luxury. I just I don't know. It's very iffy, and I think you hit on it, the dilution of the brand.
Okay, well, I don't know that everyone agrees with us. I'm still going to watch I still plan to watch the Christmas episode, try to
Oh,
enjoy
so
it,
do I.
and see where the story goes from there. Can we talk a little bit about some of the foreshadowing that was done then in yesterday's episode?
Sure.
Well, one of the things is that this uh, female hand, it looks like a female hand, picks up the gold tooth
Mm,
where the master is supposed to be imprisoned for all eternity.
yeah.
Thoughts on who that was?
It might be the same woman who did that exact same stunt at the end of season 3. There was this was a repeat, rehash of something they did at the end of season 3, and I don't know if that's the same woman's hand. I can't remember if she died horribly in season 3 or not. Cannot remember, but I was actually kind of disappointed that they're just pulling out the same shtick again for the master, which I mean was a direct copy, much like when the Doctor is going to regenerate near the end of season 4, regenerates into a disembodied hand. It becomes a Tenant. It becomes and it's like, well, that's great. That's fine. It almost seems like this time Russell said, I'm going to do that again, but I'm going to tweak it and up the stakes. And, because Russell's actually said that he not only likes the bi-generation thing, but could imagine it having happened before with past doctors. But he started to veer into a multiverse type of thing, like one decision, you do a different decision, it's a different timeline, which, yeah, sure, that's fine. Go multiverse with it. But, he even cited the in the TV movie, 96 TV movie, where you've got Sylvester McCoy regenerating into Paul McGann, and yet if it was actually a bi-generation, Sylvester is still in the was still in the morgue while McGann was getting up, springing around. Or, I don't know, but it's just very it muddies the water, and I don't know, but
Do you think back to the master and the
yeah.
tooth? Do you think that it was picked up by the Ronnie?
Oh, hmm, I gotta, I mean, anything. Well, again, anything is possible, but I gotta assume that it's probably a member of the same cult that appeared in at the near the end of season 3, because the Master's always got followers. So could be anybody, could be that person. If Russell wants to change something, do something original, the Ronnie might be fine. I'll take the Ronnie. Whichever works.
Is what's his name? Sasha Dewan? Is he scheduled to come back as the master? Has there been any?
I haven't heard anything. I mean, I haven't even heard about the Master coming back, although I'm sure he will, or she will. But playing by his own rules. I mean, Russell could bring back John Sim, could bring back Michelle Gomez or Sasha Dewan. Anybody. He could bring back Eric Roberts if he wanted to. He could bring back anybody, because I mean, you could take the Master from any point in his time stream. So
the toy maker mentioned a thing hiding in the universe that he was afraid to challenge.
yeah,
Do
and
you
he said
have
he who waited. He also mentioned he who waited.
he who waited? I have no
Yeah.
idea what that means.
No one does.
Okay.
I think
So
Russell might.
so it's not just me.
No, it's not. This is once again typical Russell, laying a little Easter egg in there, like little hint about because he would do, like in season 2, there was like a little running theme of Torchwood in the background. Season 1 was Bad Wolf. Season 3 was John Saxon. He always has a little running theme, or the Dr. Donna. But so did Moffat. But I'm guessing that this He Who Waits will show up eventually. Although, will he show up in 14's Further Adventures, or will he show up in 15's series? I have no idea.
Is Davies set to be the writer and creative content controller for this next series?
Yeah, when the BBC partnered up with Bad Wolf is where basically he works, and he's kind of like a big man at Bad Wolf Studios, and they're the ones who are owned by Sony that formed this partnership. The BBC formed it between Bad Wolf and Disney for streaming, and they gave Russell full creative control. I mean, everyone gives notes, whatever. All the participating parties give notes, but that's happened for decades with all shows. But Russell is the producer, showrunner, chief head guy, and creative, and just like the last time when he was the showrunner for series 1 through 4, he either writes the stories or he has writers in who he then runs through, because he oversees everything, and he's also the script editor in a way, and he'll rewrite anything he needs to, or shape each script, just like Moffat did, just like Chibnall did. But if you're, as near as I could tell, this first full series from Shudigawa, Russell is writing most of them, but I believe he's got a few writers coming in, or have already come in for a couple episodes in his first season. I'm sure that'll continue like that. He like the showrunner likes to shape the new Doctor as much as he can, set certain things in place to pass that along to writers who then react to what they've seen. So yeah, he's going to be all over the place.
Okay, so we got our first glimpse of the new Doctor then yesterday.
Yes.
What did you think of the new Doctor?
Well, I've heard nothing but good stuff, and he seemed fine. I mean, I've heard from other people that it was a good story, that the ending kind of like took you out of the story because of what went on. So I don't know if I can fully appreciate what Shooty brings to the table until maybe the Christmas episode, because he was clearly overshadowed here because Tennant wouldn't leave. Like he's like that guest that stays way past he's supposed to, and now he's using your bathroom. So, and so I mean, I was consumed with, well, wait, Tennant is still here. He's going to be hanging out in a garden for the next billion years. He's going to relax. And if there's any trouble, he won't do anything. He'll just kick back and watch Shooty handle everything. Which, whatever.
Yeah, that's tough to believe.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I hope there's no more overshadowing, because I'd like Shooty to get his just due. I'd like, it should be his time, and he shouldn't have to share the title with anybody. But near as I could tell, I mean, once he puts pants on, anything could happen.
Yeah, I thought that was, after everything that happened in that episode, they didn't think the fans would be able to handle two fully clothed doctors if they divided. They had to split up the clothing.
Yeah, and considering when Jodie regenerated into Tennant with full clothing, different clothing on, it's kind of like, well, why didn't she just do a duplication of the clothes? Because really anything goes. I think Russell just wanted to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting, but like yourself, I think I need to see him in his own element. I've seen the trailer for the Christmas special.
Yeah.
There's nothing there that grabs me, but I'm still going to watch the show. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch as well. The trailer, yeah, I don't know if that really, because in past, when they were, they'll probably at the end of the Christmas special, they'll probably show a preview of a bunch of stuff coming in the upcoming series. I would imagine that's when that'll happen. But I look forward to the Christmas special, and I'm really hoping that I'm hoping that he is every bit the Doctor he should be, and I don't know. We'll see.
Closing thoughts?
Fingers crossed.
Indeed. Rick, thanks for joining us again. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jim.
Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you all for listening. Let's do this again soon. Take care.